Hello and welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. Based on its diversity, Tanzania rewrites its energy destiny.
As we talk of the 300 mission, where we want to power 300 million Africans to energy, we believe we'll be also having an upper hand on the same endeavor.
New optimism as nation's aerospace sector advances. Good evening. I am Kanki Mwaigomole. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. The President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has today met and held talks with various leaders at the State House in Dar es Salaam. The head of state has met and held talks with the resident coordinator of the United Nations in the country, Susan Namondo. Furthermore, President Samia has met with the outgoing Japanese ambassador to Tanzania, Yasushi Misawa. President Samia has also met and held talks with the Chief Executive Officer of NMB Bank, Tanzania, Ruth Zaipuna. In other news, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Energy, Dr. Doto Biteko, says Tanzania is making significant strides towards becoming the energy hub of Africa, recognizing that electricity is key to improving the livelihoods of its people. He further highlights that the President of the United Republic of Tanzania has consistently shown a strong commitment to this goal through a concrete plan and actions, insisting that the upcoming Africa Energy Summit scheduled for January 27th to the 28th serves as a statement to the international recognition of our efforts. In an interview with my colleague Faidha Ngaga, Dr. Biteko also urges global energy stakeholders to join the upcoming summit, underscoring its importance for shaping the future of Africa's energy sector.
Tanzania has been a champion in the clean cooking agenda. What are the strides so far?
We inaugurated the strategy for clean cooking, and Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan had an honor to officiate that. We are busy working on it, and we are doing some evaluation every year to see where we are now, because we're at 6.9% people who have access to clean cooking energy. But now we are trying with NBS to see how far have we gone. And I believe when we release the report, we'll see the numbers, because the number will be telling us the truth. We want to shift from the traditional fossil fuel kind of energy to clean cooking energy, which is mainly electricity, LPG, and many others. And the mindset of the people also has been with the sense that maybe using the traditional energy, this is the only way you can make your food good. Now, how do we shift that mindset? And people should believe that, okay, using other sources like electricity and many others, food will be as good as it was. This is something to do a campaign, to do some outreaches, in which currently they are underway. They are now shifting from the traditional energy of cooking to this modern one. And we believe coming to 2034 as the target states, we will move the entire population at 80%. We believe so.
What are some of the opportunities that Tanzanians can grab with the coming of this summit?
There are a lot of opportunities. I believe people will do business. I know hotels will make business. The tourism sector also boom, because other people will also visit some destinations, which are the tourism destinations. I believe also we will share experiences with people who have really made some progress beyond us, and also share what we have to our neighboring countries, especially in the continent. As we talk of the 300 mission, where we want to power 300 million Africans to energy, we believe we'll be also having an upper hand on the same endeavor. And therefore, it's a very big opportunity. We cannot take it for granted. We just want to capitalize and take it seriously and make it be a part of our development.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, what do you have to say to the energy stakeholders as the Africa Energy Summit is approaching?
I would want to assure the population of Tanzania and development partners and our neighboring country that Tanzania is working hard to be the energy hub of the continent. We are making sure Tanzanians and the entire African continent is powered into electricity, because we believe having electricity that improves the livelihood of the people. So if we have energy, especially electricity, livelihood of people will be improved. And we have to put every effort. And Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the president of this country, has really demonstrated that we want our people to be powered. We want our people having clean energy for cooking, for environmental issues, and for health reasons. We want them to be having energy which is more reliable, cheaper, and really environmental friendly. This is the agenda that we are carrying forward. I hope if we put together the effort in place, we will make this possible.
Airplane Africa Limited, AAL, has expressed its eagerness to ultimately transfer its aircraft assembly line from the Czech Republic to Tanzania, with a long-term goal of establishing a fully functional aerospace industry within the country. My colleague Antonia Kivaria has visited the industry and has prepared the following report.
The Tanzania Investment Center, TIC, has earlier today visited Airplane Africa Limited, a company originating from Czech Republic. AAL has made a significant investment in airplane assembly in Morogoro, Tanzania, and bringing clean energy to the hand-assembled aircraft production in the country. Currently, the company assembles two models, Skylander 600 and 500, and plans to expand in production to include additional models in the future.
At first, our company needed to have a base abroad, to have a base in Africa, because from Europe we are supplying the rest of the world, but in Africa we are not present, and due to logistic chains it would be advantage for us. And we were searching for markets and searching for convenient conditions, people, labor staff, and we decided also due security and safety reasons to be present in that.
On the other hand, the TIC Executive Director, Gilead Terry, emphasizes that investment is one of the most unique investments due to its symbolic nature. As Tanzania continues to excel economically, Terry notes, there is no a greater symbol of economic progress than the ability of a nation to assemble and manufacture aircrafts.
Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan granted them permission to set up in Tanzania. Our civil aviation authorities and our airports authority also gave them the space and the licenses to start their venture. And their compliance processes was complete last year, the year 2024, and by now they have already manufactured 5 aircraft. And we are very proud as Tanzania Investment Center to have worked quite closely with the embassies and our aviation authority to make this investment a success. What is unique about this investment is the symbolic nature of it. When we talk about the Tanzanian economy being ready for takeoff, I mean, there is no greater symbol than the ability of the economy to actually assemble and manufacture aircrafts.
But how do local Tanzanians benefit from such project? Far from getting a job through these investors coming to our country, I got to know the new technology of making airplanes and managed to go to Czech Republic to do training. And we went to do training and also learn how to assemble aircraft. And this year we are going for another training.
It has been successful in sending our employees to training abroad to gain new skills, to change the environment, and also exposure to know how other nation works. and it has been a great pleasure to work here as a Tanzanian.
In addition, the company has established a fully funded exchange program, its parent company in Czech Republic, designed to facilitate knowledge and transfer and provide Tanzanians with advanced training in aviation industry. Antonia Kivaria, TBC News.
In other news, the Minister of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi, says the government values the role that the media sector plays in the nation, reassuring the government's commitment to support media business endeavors and uphold press freedom. He made the assurance in Dar es Salaam after visiting the headquarters of the Tanzania Standard newspaper TSN, which is his first visit to the media house since assuming office as a Minister of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports. Here are more details.
Speaking to the TSN management, Professor Kabudi says the Tanzanian government will safeguard conducive environment for the media industry that allows journalists to access information, particularly on issues related to economic growth, calling on the media owners to facilitate journalists to reach in remote areas.
So I'm sure newspapers and the other news agencies and the news outlets will also have a budget to assist their journalists to go there. Yes, there might be seed money from here and there on investigative journalism, on development journalism, but at the end of the day, it is the responsibility of each and respective news organ to budget for that. You know, the government is not a benefactor. The government is a facilitator. And in facilitation, it will do its role. In capacity building, indeed, we need to do capacity building in all these areas of investigative journalism, of development journalism, either through the associations which are available or directly. So that is the role of the government.
The minister also vows to address TSN's pressing issues like finance, completing the state-of-art newspaper and document printing factory, which has reached 78%, and other projects. On the other hand, the TSN Director General Aisha Dachi says in the year 2025, the company is committed to create and write more investigative stories that address to the national issues, especially those outlined in the Controller and Auditor General CAG's report.
Sasa hivi tulipo ni kwamba tunafanya dira ya maendeleo ya taifa, lakini ilani ya Chama cha Mapinduzi.
We have been implementing the Tanzania Development Vision, CCM manifesto, tax reforms, and opportunities to promote tourism. What will improve this year, 2025, is to come up with investigative stories for our newspaper that we believe, if we prepare them well, will elevate our income through increased sales and market.
The outgoing U.S. ambassador to Tanzania, Michael Battle, says during his time of service he has been impressed with the contribution of the Tanzanian youth in the fight against HIV, praising young people's commitment and readiness to volunteer for a national cause. He made the remarks during the climax of the Peace Corps host country volunteer program, which has succeeded in recruiting and training Tanzanian young people on issues related to HIV prevention and youth employability. Peter Mganga has the following report.
According to the statistics released by National AIDS Control Program, the prevalence of HIV among young people aged 15 to 19 years range 1%, while 1.3% are girls and 0.8% among boys. The percentage of women aged 20 to 24 infected with HIV is higher, which range 4.4% than that of men, which is 1.7% in the same age group. The outgoing U.S. ambassador to Tanzania, Michael Battle, urges Tanzanian government to use young people as an important actors who can solve many challenges to achieve national and global health goals, especially those related to HIV.
The American volunteers come from all over the United States, but to come here and to work with a Tanzanian youth on issues that shape the future of this country is a marvelous experience. And to watch how skillful and articulate these young people are in terms of their ability to understand Tanzania and understand the rest of the world. They are an asset to Tanzania. I've said on a number of occasions, and I'll say it again, that the young people of this country are not just Tanzania's future. They are also Tanzania's present. And what they're doing today proves that they are making a difference in this wonderful, beautiful country. And I applaud what they do, and I'm sure the government of Tanzania applauds them as well. It brings my heart tremendous joy to be here with these young volunteers today.
The U.S. Peace Corps Country Director, Stephen Joseph DeGose, says her organization will continue to support the governments to overcome pressing issues like HIV response so that the country achieves the goals set.
Over the years, youth have consistently said, nothing for us without us. And the host country volunteerism pilot responds to youth motivation, agency, the fight against HIV and AIDS. Youth play an important role in us reaching 95, 95, 95 and epidemic control by 2030. Peace Corps and Tanzania have a 6-decade relationship of peace and friendship. We have the oldest volunteer model, so it's an opportunity for us to extend what we do well to Tanzania. My hope is that this model becomes scalable and sustainable so that all youth in Tanzania can have an opportunity to volunteer in their communities.
On the other hand, some of the volunteers vow to maximize knowledge gained through the program, especially the efforts to eradicate HIV, as well as to build a volunteerism spirit.
One among the reasons for me to volunteer is to save my community, to be safe from the HIV, especially youth, who are the most group affected with, to be affected with this HIV.
I'm eager and I'm well able to be one of the members to participate in this program, since I know that I can save my community well to avoid different diseases such as HIV, since most of the youth in our communities, they lack knowledge about HIV.
Peace Corps host country volunteer program believes in youth involvement in the HIV response and in helping the country achieve the 95 targets. This program highlights how innovative partnership and community-driven approaches can drive progress towards national and global health goals. Peter Mganga, TBC News, Dar es Salaam.
The chairman of the Party for Democracy and Progress, commonly known as CHADEMA, Freeman Mbowe, urges youth to be courageous in executing their responsibilities and demand fulfillment of their rights. Officially opening the party's Youth Wing General Meeting, Mbowe insists that the elections will be meaningless if they fail to deliver.
Saidianeni na viongozi wanaokuja.
Collaborate with the incoming leaders. Create a youth program which can mobilize youth from the grassroots level.
Earlier, while addressing the members of CHADEMA Youth Wing, Bavicha, the party's vice chairperson, Tundu Lissu, urged them to hold free and fair elections.
Niwatakieni uchaguzi huru.
Let me wish you all a free, fair and transparent election. In this election, it is your responsibility to get good leaders.
CHADEMA Youth Wing Bavicha is holding a leadership election, which will be the first step towards the party's leadership elections to elect the party's chairperson and the members of the Central Committee. The community has been reminded to prioritize positive parenting to nurture children with strong values from the family level, regardless of the backgrounds, to ensure no child, including those in orphanages, is left behind. Speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam while distributing school supplies to 400 students from 9 orphanage centers, the Deputy Minister for Community Development, Gender, Elderly and Children, Mwanaidi Ali Hamis, insisted the move will help children develop skills that contribute to national development.
Watoto tuwalee katika
We should raise children in an environment that nurtures respect and integrity, ensuring that they will carry these values wherever they go. The children of today are the leaders of tomorrow. A child raised with good character becomes a pillar of the society and of our nation, and the country will be blessed with leaders who uphold integrity, respect, and the values that are rooted to our education and our culture.
The items donation, which have been extended by the Laiji Foundation, serves as an ongoing support for the government's initiative to ensure quality education as schools reopen in 2025.
Here distributing 400 school kits to the orphans, and the orphans are coming from 9 different orphanages, and we're providing them school uniforms, bags, shoes, and all sorts of other stuff as well. And we had the guest of honor as well to join us for this lovely event and to help us to give it to the children, and they can start the year well.
You see, when schools start, all the children who were living in their homes with their parents, they get new uniforms, they get new school kits, and when they come to school, they're in very good mood. They look nice and, you know, presentable. Unfortunately, our children who live away from parents or without parents in these orphanages, especially the orphans that you saw here today, they don't have that privilege. So we as a foundation have decided, to the best of our ability, to try and support and help as many orphans as possible.
In case you missed any of our news stories, remember you can always go to our YouTube channel at TBC Online and watch anytime, anywhere. Before concluding the local news, let's take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in the exchange rates. It's now time for the international news. Here's the international news as compiled and read by Lulua Muhammad.
Somalia and Ethiopia have announced they will restore for diplomatic relations, easing months of tensions between the two nations. This follows a visit to Addis Ababa yesterday by Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. It is more than a year after Somalia severed ties over a sea access agreement landlocked Ethiopia signed with the separatist northern Somalia region of Somaliland. In a joint statement after an unexpected visit by Somalia's president, both countries committed to restore and enhance bilateral relations through full diplomatic representation in their respective capitals. Ethiopia's State Minister for Foreign Affairs has called the step as a big milestone forward in bilateral relations. European foreign ministers have agreed to meet at the end of January to discuss lifting sanctions on Syria as foreign ministers and top diplomats from Western countries and the Middle East convened in Saudi Arabia in the first such regional meeting since the fall of President Bashar al-Assad last month. The European Union's foreign policy chief said that the foreign ministers would convene in Brussels on January 27 to probe how the 27-member bloc might approach the issue. She told reporters that the EU wants to see an inclusive government in Syria which shows no signs of radicalization and also respects the rights of women and other groups. And 9 people have died after a landslide hit in the city of Ipatinga in Brazil after a torrential rain fell in the space for 1 hour on Saturday night. Latin America's biggest country has been rocked by several extreme weather events over the past year. Brazil also suffered a historic drought linked to climate change, laying the ground for the worst wildfires in 17 years, which consumed vast chunks of the Amazon rainforest.
That was the international news with Lulua Mohammed. Sports news is up next. And in sports news, the head of marketing of MultiChoice Tanzania, Baraka Sherukindo, says for Simba Sports Club to qualify for the quarter-final stage of the CAF Confederation Cup indicates how Tanzanian football has excelled to the highest levels in the continent. Speaking during the launching campaign of Panda Nikupandishe in Dar es Salaam, Sherukindo adds that with Simba and young Africans doing well in the African Championship, it is a promising sign that the Tanzanian national team Taifa Stars to shine in the upcoming CAF Africans Championship CHAN that will start from next month in Tanzania.
This is a true reflection of where our football is at the moment. So for me, I think we are sitting at a very good space. I know CHAN is going to happen. CHAN finals will happen in our country. I know we've qualified for Morocco, AFCON finals, and I know that we will have the 2027 in Tanzania. So you could not be in a better space as a football fan or as a Tanzanian who love football than the space where we are now. Some people say most of the things that you end up, achieving starts with a dream. If you don't dream, then there's a problem. But given the trend of what our teams have been performing, including the national team, I think is not very far away where we will be in a position to sort of win one of these tournaments. What needs to happen is we need to continue investing on these teams, and the investment should start at the grassroots levels.
Simba Sports Club has qualified for the quarter-finals of the CAF Confederation Cup after a draw with Angola's Bravos to reach 10 points, while their rivals Young Africans have beaten Sudan's Al Hilal 1-0 and revived its hopes of qualifying for the quarter-finals of the CAF Champions League. Meanwhile, COSOTA's Chief Executive Officer Doreen Nasinare says the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between Tanzania Airport Authority TAA and Copyright Society of Tanzania opens a new chapter to ensure loyalty collection for the use of music played at Tanzanian airports. Speaking during the signing ceremony held at TAA offices in Dar es Salaam, CEO Sinari insists that Tanzanian artists will benefit more from their work, while the TAA Director General Abdul Mwambokaleo adds that this will also open new markets for Tanzanian music internationally.
This is one of the things that we really wished to have even before this year, but the two ministers, the deputy ministers, were able to facilitate this process. You can see as if it is easy, but it was not easy to reach to an agreement. So from now on, when they play the music, we will get the royalties for the right holders. And we agreed that they will play 80% of the music, which is local content, and 20% from foreign countries. So it means the royalties by 80% will go to the right holders from this country. So this is one of the benefits that we have mentioned in our meeting today.
Exposing them. The platform will work both to create well-being of artists and also to give them exposure to the international corridor. Because, with the airport, especially for the international airport, whereby people from different destinations of the world, they meet over there, they can stand a chance to listen to the work of our local artists. So we are exposing and then marketizing them to have a very broad spectrum in terms of coverage worldwide.
Tanzania has been striving to secure reliable means of collecting royalties from various stakeholders using artists' artworks as part of ensuring the artists benefit from the work they produce. And that sports news is the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Kanki Mwegomole. Good night.